So it's time for number 15 in my series of comic book movie reviews, with a vegetarian comic book hero from one of the masters of horror. Swamp Thing is brought to us by director Wes Craven and stars Ray Wise, Adrienne Barbeau, and Louis Jordan. After a violent incident with a special chemical, a research scientist is turned into a swamp plant monster. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I loved this movie as a kid. I don't know why, but I remember having very fond memories of it. However, after watching it now as an adult all these years later, unfortunately, this is just not a good movie. Now, I appreciate what Wes Craven was trying to do here, make a fun popcorn movie. This was before Nightmare on Elm Street. This was before Wes Craven was Wes Craven. Now, he was already very much ingrained in the horror scene with things like The Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left and stuff like that. But he wanted to do something different. He wanted to make a more mainstream, just fun popcorn movie. So that's why he took on this movie, but man, he just kind of failed on every level here. The story is about as basic and bare bones as you can get, and you give no shits about any one or thing that is going on here. That really simple synopsis I gave in the beginning of this review, that's all there is. There's nothing else here. There's no other substance. There's nothing. This movie is super basic. Now, admittedly, I don't know that much about the Swamp Thing character beyond what the movies have told me. The character did recently get a TV show that I hear is really good, so I guess there's something there, but that something is not in this movie. And the show was canceled after one season apparently, so there's that. It's kind of hard to give a whole lot of negatives about this story when there's just not much of one there, which I guess is just kind of the biggest negative of all. There's just nothing here. I will say that for a PG-rated movie, there's an awful lot of blood, violence, and nudity in this movie. I know this was before the PG-13 rating existed, but holy shit, I'm kind of surprised that this only got stuck with a PG. Now, the European version apparently has full frontal nudity of Adrienne Barbeau, but not in this one, but we still do get some boobage here in the PG-rated movie. And can I say that I've never found Adrienne Barbeau to be the most, like, exotic woman on earth. Nothing against her. I mean, she's not, like, terrible or anything, and I like her in the roles that she's in, but I've never looked at her and been like, ooh, yeah, Adrienne Barbeau. But in this movie, admittedly, she kind of got it going on. The shoot of this movie was apparently really miserable in the swamps of South Carolina, and you can kind of see that in the performances. The performances here are just not good, and everybody looks pretty unhappy. And not like their characters are supposed to be unhappy. No, the people themselves, to their core, look pretty fucking miserable overall. Like they just do not want to be making this movie. Add to that the characters themselves, the way they're written, come across as pretty boring, and you've got a pretty toxic combination there. Now, Adrienne Barbeau as Cable, she was pretty fun. She seemed like she's the only person on screen having a good time. And the character Jude, man, this kid, he was so fucking random, I just couldn't get enough of. Beyond those two though, in the character department and the performance department, there's just not much going on in this movie. The creature effects, yeah, not the best. Swamp Thing's face and head look pretty cool, but the rest of his body just looks like a wet green tracksuit with mud on it. But it pales in comparison when it comes to our villain Arcane's monster suit. This suit, this like wolf monster kind of hybrid, whatever the fuck he's supposed to be, is so bad that it's just laughable. The face itself, the eyes and everything, it is so comically bad. How in the hell did these designs end up on screen? I get if they like drew them out and they said, oh yeah, that looks pretty cool, like on the page, but when they saw the actual suits on camera, where was the person that was supposed to say, hey guys, that doesn't look good. Even for 1982, we need to do something different. Whoever the fuck's job that was, they failed that day, and it was probably Wes Craven. I love some of your stuff there, Wes, but this one, nope, missed the mark. Now, while the effects themselves in the movie aren't that great, the action scene effects are so over the top and epic, they are actually kind of fun. Like this one part where Swamp Thing goes and rips the roof off of a car, and the roof just like takes off into fucking orbit. It is so ridiculous and over the top and played so straight-laced that I couldn't help but sit there and laugh. Things like this happen a couple of times. Like he'll go and like gently tap a boat and the motherfucker just takes off across the fucking swamp. It's pretty great. Beyond that though, in the effects department and pretty much every other department in this movie, nothing shines here whatsoever. Guys, I had a really hard time finding much to enjoy with Swamp Thing. I was looking forward to watching this movie and I wanted to like it, but it just didn't work for me as an adult. The story is so basic, it's practically non-existent. The characters are just dull as hell. The performances are overall pretty miserable and the effects are laughable at best. I hate to bash on the movie too much, but it doesn't really give me much of a choice. And while Wes Craven usually does come through for us, this time he did not. And Swamp Thing is really only worth checking out on USA Up All Night.
It's not worth it!
Hi, I'm Gilbert Gottfried.
Hi, it's Yolanda on USA.
It's so big. It's just not worth it!
This movie was just a huge disappointment overall, and I just can't recommend it on pretty much any level. So if you're interested in seeing Swamp Thing on the screen, while I haven't seen it, I've heard the new show is better, so go check that out instead. So there it is, guys, my review of Swamp Thing. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg C and Dragon Con. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Charlotte.
The Adventures of the Swamp Thing. The comic book legend lives.
So what's next on the comic book movie review list? Oh shit. It's Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. I mean, at least it ain't the Quest for Peace, so there's that.